Hi folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So, Grim Protocols is out today, and we've got some new weapons to play with. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a build and setup that you can use for the Ogryn to play with the new stubber and jump straight into the action. So, let's take a look. So, the new heavy stubber. It's actually pretty damn good. I wasn't too fond of it when they first announced it because I thought, oh brilliant, it's just another stubber. But this is actually really, really useful and does fill a hole in the Ogryn's toolkit. So what we have 3 marks. The Korok is the lightest version. That's the one you start off with. As you can see, more ammo, higher rate of fire, but less damage. And then you've got the Ogryn, which is the mid-range. And then you've got the Achilles, which is the heaviest version. So, of course, as the guns get heavier, their fire rate gets lower. So this is the Achilles, the heaviest version. Kind of works how you would think an autocannon would. It's pretty bouncy, but it's also incredibly goddamn accurate when you switch over to aiming down sights. And the damage is actually quite impressive. So even on a crusher, you are able to gun them down pretty easily. Just be warned, you don't have that much ammo. I would highly suggest trying out each one of them to see which one you prefer. I've been toying with all of them. I've played with the Korok the most, and it's pretty damn balanced, to be honest. As you can see, fire rate's pretty decent on it. And even the lightest version, if you have to, you can chew through crushers with it. And of course, you can snipe. But as you can see, the damage is a lot lower than the Achilles. But still very, very accurate. And I think the most important thing of all, the Ogryn finally has a torch. And I think that is the most important part of this. We can make things lighter again. So, that's the stubber. It's a fun little weapon. I've been enjoying it. So, if you want to jump straight in, and I would say this build is pretty decent for Havoc as well. So, what we're starting off with is the slab shield. And on the modifiers, we're using defense as our dump stat, because screw defense. The best defense is a good offense. Perk-wise, we're going for Carapace and Flak. This is going to help us deal with crushers in melee, and Flak because it's the most prevalent armor type in the game. Blessings-wise, we're going with Skull Crusher. Target receives +4 stacks of 10% damage if already staggered lasts 5 seconds. And Brutal Momentum, +15% weak spot damage. Weak spot kills also ignore enemy hit mass. This is just going to allow us to cleave through hordes like they're nothing. And then, of course, the stubber. Pick whichever variant you like. And blessings-wise, well, it's got a few nice blessings on it. I'm still not entirely sure which way to go with it, as, you know, it's day one. Testing is required. But overwhelming fire is pretty good, especially if you're just going to use this like a stubber. And Blaze Away, you could pair those two up for some nice just damage. Or if you're going with using it as a sniping weapon, Surgical and Deadly Accurate are very, very nicely paired up together. Because you're aiming down sights, which means your crit chance is going up. And then Deadly Accurate gives you +8, 120% critical weak spot damage. So pairing these two together is pretty decent, and so is pairing these two. But I mean, you can also go for Inspiring Barrage and Blaze Away if you want to, if you're using it just like a normal stubber. But as I said, testing is required. Right off the bat, I would suggest pairing Surgical and Deadly Accurate, or Overwhelming Fire and Blaze Away, or Inspiring Barrage and Blaze Away. And then for the Curios, we're going for 20% max health with Toughness, Stamina Drainage, Damage Resistance Gunners. Toughness with Extra Toughness, Damage Resistance Snipers, and Damage Resistance Gunners. And Toughness, same again, Extra Toughness, Damage Resistance Snipers, and Damage Resistance Gunners. Now for the build. They have changed the tree around, and we now get Towering Presence up here. So we're grabbing Towering Presence. which gives us 50% coherency radius. Into Linchpin, toughness replenishment while incoherency is increased by 50%. And then over to Heavyweight, the best talent in the tree, plus 30% damage against Bulwarks, Crushers, Plague Ogrins, and Reapers, also receiving plus 30% damage reduction against the same. And then Furious, for each enemy you hit during the same heavy melee attack, gain 2.5% damage on your next melee attack. And then Smash 'em, replenish 20% toughness after hitting a single enemy with a heavy melee attack. The best defense, replenish 20% toughness after hitting multiple enemies with a single heavy attack. Toughness boost here, and we're still picking up bombs away because I quite like having both slam and soften them up. Slam helps you stagger everything. Soften them up just gives you 15% more damage for 5 seconds on anything you touch. Down into a toughness boost here, then picking up Indomitable. Then into Stomping Boots. Indomitable, charge forward with great force, knocking back enemies and staggering them. Gain plus 25% attack speed and 25% movement speed for 5 seconds. Charge is stopped on collision with a monstrosity. Base cooldown is 30 seconds. And then we're going to be picking up Stomping Boots, which replenishes plus 10% toughness per enemy hit with Indomitable. And we're going to be picking up Pulverize as well. Apply 5 stacks of bleed on enemies hit by Indomitable. The reason I'm not using Trample at the moment is because this just seems to be a bit of a waste in damage. We're not actually going to use much of that extra damage that it's giving us, whereas Pulverize gives us a lot more defense to work with. And then here for plus 5% rending, then into 5% health boost, Hard Knocks. Plus 1% damage to your next heavy melee attack on enemy stagger. Stacks 25 times and lasts 10 seconds. The larger the enemy, the more stacks are earned. And then into Batter, inflict plus 4 stacks of bleed on heavy melee hit. Then into heavy melee damage boost. Into Bonebreaker's Aura for more heavy melee attack damage. And then into another melee damage boost. And then we're picking up Delight in Destruction. Plus 8% damage resistance per bleeding enemy in melee range, stacks 6 times. Now this pairs up really nicely with Batter and with Pulverize. Both of these things applying bleeds on everything we do. And we're also taking Dominate, which gives us plus 10% rending for 10 seconds on elite kill. Now, we can dump this point, because rending doesn't really help the shield. But it does help the heavy stubber. As I said, this is day one. There is much testing to be done. At the moment, this does seem to help quite a lot with the stubber. Now into a toughness boost in the middle. Attention Seeker, blocking or pushing enemies, taunts them for 8 seconds. And then Payback Time, plus 20% damage for 5 seconds after being hit by a melee attack. Into a toughness boost here, and then picking up Won't Give In. Plus 20% damage reduction for each knockdown or incapacitated ally within 20 meters. Another health boost, and then into Feel No Pain. You are blessed with 10 stacks of Feel No Pain. Each stack grants 2.5% toughness replenishment and 2.5% damage reduction. Taking damage removes 1 stack, and stacks are restored every 3 seconds. So this is an incredibly tanky survivability build, which works very nicely in Havoc and in Auric. So the Slab Shield. A lot of you already know this, but I will quickly go over a few things about it. I love the Slab Shield. It is an absolute unit of a weapon. You basically stagger everything you hit. It has massively wide sweeps. And also, if you flick your camera just at the end of an attack, you actually do get slightly more cleave in your weapon. And with Brutal Momentum, as you can see, killing one thing with a headshot, which is a weak spot hit, also reduces all the enemy hit mass around you, which means you hit more things as you do it. Now, it is also a shield. If your team is being gunned down or pinned down by gunners, you can turtle up, get in there, and hit them. When you use your push, Attention Seeker procs. Blocking or pushing enemies taunts them for 8 seconds, and as you can see, it also classes as blocking. If you block gunshots, it counts as you blocking them, and it will occasionally because it's not doing it all the time at the moment, it will force gunners into melee with you. Because they think they're being blocked, they will stop shooting. It's not true 100% of the time anymore, because I've been testing it, but it does still kind of work. Now, the other thing about slab shield. The special on the slab shield is to plant the shield and stand there. You cannot move, you cannot do anything, you can't attack. This is not helpful for your team. There are very, very few circumstances when you want to actually use this, because planting yourself is just asking to get killed. If you are very quickly blocking a doorway to help your team, yes, it's useful. If you're just standing in a corridor thinking your team's going to rally around you, no, it is not helpful. You're not doing anything. What you need to be doing is being in the middle of the fight, staggering the hell out of everything, making everything focus on you. So you want to throw in shield bashes, blocks, and lots of heavy attacks and light attacks. As you see, the light attacks, pretty decent. I do tend to heavy attack quite a lot though, just because brutal momentum does give us huge amounts of cleave. Now, if you want a more comprehensive guide on using this, I have many guides on this channel about the slab shield, so please do feel free to look at them. There's just some very quick tips on how to use it if you are a newer player. I know some people, they absolutely swear by the special. I don't. If you are a veteran player and know exactly what you're doing, yeah, it's fine. Do what you want with the shield. But for newer players, this is a trap. Because you are not helping your team. You're not actually really doing anything. You're just turning yourself into a bit of wall that will eventually die. I mean, if there is a demon host on you, yes, turtle up. Let it hit the shield, let everything else kill it. But other than that, it's not a good idea to just sit there. Because you're not helping your team. You help your team by getting in the middle of everything, staggering, throwing out bleeds, and generally making a nuisance of yourself. You're an Ogryn. That's what you should be doing. Anyway, that is a day one build for the stubber. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please do like and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications. It really does help us out. And please do keep in mind, this is a very, very brief day one build. A lot more testing is needed, and more builds shall be coming over the next few days. So please do keep an eye out for that. And that's it. I hope you enjoy, folks. I shall see you all for the next one. So until then, take it easy. I'll see you later.